What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video is entitled, Do Video Games Ruin Competition? Having a conversation a few days, weeks back. And people playing video games, you know, my age, I'm late 30s, and people still play video games. And I noticed over time, gaming has changed and evolved just like anything else. When I was younger and video games were the Nintendos and stuff like that was coming out. They had like computer games prior to that. Atari and so on and so forth. People used to actually get outside and compete. People used to actually go to school and compete. And video games was like a fun way to compete outside of actual physical competition or mental competition. It was just like a, you know, just fun way to compete. But as over the years and as time evolved, you know, I see less kids going outside. I see more and more obese adults and overweight adults. And gaming has got so big that you would pretty much think a video game system is in pretty much almost every household in America, you know. And here's the issue. You can feel like you're good on a video game and not actually compete against real people. So now you have this false sense of confidence as far as being a winner and being in competition because you did it on a video game. You know, I remember the games I liked the most was like Madden, the basketball like the 2K series, Tekken, Fight Night, a few other fighting games, but I remember when people would play them, you knew the difference between people who liked competing and people who didn't, because they would always play Madden on the easiest level. I'm killing them. Yeah. Put it on all Madden, let's play. You know, put it on the top level in 2K, let's play. So everybody, the competition part is you want to take it to somebody on the easiest level, you know, which was ridiculous. But I think that spilled over into life where people just, you know, if they can win at the lowest level and win big at the lowest level, they feel like a champ. They feel like they've achieved something. They didn't take it up a notch. They didn't take it up a notch after that. They didn't take it up a notch after that. And the reason I'm saying this is because people aren't competing, because I think people are addicted to the confidence of beating something. Same thing, you know, I remember back in the day when I was younger, they used to have all these cheat codes. And they used to have the guys who were into video games and really into video games like that. They would get on these cheat codes. You know, how is you beating me this bad? And they'd be on it, you know, they pulling the cheat code and they feel like they're invincible. And nothing was more worse than a guy who used the cheat code and still got beat. They couldn't wrap their head around that. Like, I cheated as much as I could. I'm invincible. No, everything has a weakness. Even invincible has a weakness. You know, and sometimes, you know, I've learned even through that type of competition, one of the issues that a lot of people have is if you're accustomed to taking the easy way out or cheating to win or taking shortcuts, you may have something that you feel is invincible, but you're not invincible. It's not the what you're using, it's you the user. You know, people used to be, my controller broke. No, you just suck. You just can't beat me, period. And the reason I talk about that part of the competition is because what winds up happening is people go out into real life and then they don't compete. And you're sitting there like, wait a minute, how are you not competing in real life. And that's the problem. Because you don't have to be a winner. Like all these video games, how many people play chess anymore? That's a thinking game, right? You don't want to compete. You can play chess on your phone against the computer. Keep taking it up a level if you win it. Don't want to compete. You know, people have a hard time losing. And that's the thing about it. Like, a lot of times people have a hard time losing because they're not learning from their mistakes. You know, there's nothing wrong with losing if you learning from your mistakes. Because the more mistakes you make and the more mistakes you learn from, the harder the more difficult you are to beat. And the more you will excel in competition because you can think under pressure. And you've seen enough. You've experienced enough to say, okay, got it. You know, I got a counter for everything. And this is why I say, you know, do video games ruin competition? Because people are addicted to competing against an inanimate object. You know, an algorithm. Or a person somewhere else on the other side of the pond or state or whatever online, and usually looking for an easy win. You know, and I think, you know, I didn't realize this when I was younger. Well, I did realize it when I was younger. I remember being in college and we was playing Madden and the time just kept going by. And I felt, after a while, I felt like, you know, I need sleep. But also I'm wasting a lot of time being addicted to this game. But I did other things. Like, you know, I had classes. I had, you know, I was working out and stuff with the football team and the track team and whatnot. And I did that in my downtime. But I realized that was a lot of people's routine. That wasn't their downtime. And when it came to competing in life, they didn't focus on anything that was probably more productive than gaming because that was their routine. They didn't use that extra time to build up a skill. And that became an issue because now you're not taking care of yourself. Like, this is the part about even gaming. A lot of times people don't take care of themselves who play video games a lot. They're not eating right because you're snacking while you're playing. You know, you're not sleeping right sometimes because you're playing through crazy hours, and it is what it is. You're not really grooming yourself because you're so addicted to playing. And as you grow on to be an adult, you know, you realize, you know, video games not going to keep the lights on. It's not going to keep a roof over your head unless you're a professional gamer, but most people aren't. And then I look at it like, okay, now you're teaching your kids this because the kids got these tablets, phones, video game systems all in front of their face. And, you know, they feel like they're good because they can compete on a video game online and not in person. And I think this is the reason why you see less and less kids in sports. It ain't just sports are violent and parents don't want to take their kids around and this, that, and the third. It's also the fact that parents look at it as it's an out to not actually parent day to day, and it's an out for your kid to compete without being in real competition. You know, learning the nuances of real competition, learning how to think their way out of situations, learning how to feel to impose your will on somebody and to feel somebody try to impose their will on you. You know, they don't know what it's like to go on a run or make a comeback. They don't know what it's like to make a person quit or to be to the brink of quitting and then getting a second win. They don't know how to compete like that. They don't know how to believe in themselves even if it's not looking good and make a slow comeback. They don't know how to have a plan that you might feel like you're getting out, somebody feel like they front running on you and you just draining them so they could lose it on the back end. They don't know stuff like that. You know, they don't have a craft. You know, and they're not passionate about anything. And this is part of what I mean by competition. Video games don't make people passionate about anything except for playing video games. You know, and because you don't have a passion, you're not willing to invest the energy in something, and you're not willing to take some losses because you're not willing to compete, because it's not really, you don't feel, you don't feel compelled to do it. It's not something that drives you. There's no ambition involved. And can I blame it all on video games? No, I'm just using this as a scenario. But I think with so many people using video games as a stress reliever and downtime, they don't realize how much time they're wasting about competing and doing something that they can actually will probably be super substantive, or something of substance for their lives. So like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.